What's up, everybody? I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. I'm Anthony, and on today's episode I have a twofer for you. Basically, I get asked one of two questions all the time. What do I put in my garden bed in terms of dirt? And how do I compost? And since the answer is just about the same, I figured I would take two videos and put them into one. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so first things first, I get this question all the time, and when people see my garden produce, whether it be friends of the family, my personal friends in real life, my everyday life, or through YouTube, people see the amount of produce I'm able to get from just one single plant, and they ask, Anthony, what do you put in your soil to be able to get all that? Do you buy a certain type of fertilizer or whatever? And I say, no, I build my own soil. Because I've learned throughout the course of doing this that the more I start building my own soil, the better results I was getting. So if anything, this is going to be a little how-to of how I build my soil. So maybe you can take some bits you like to help build your own. That way you don't have to worry about running into problems that can spring up by having inadequate soil. Now, first things first, I got to get it out of the way. When you go to Lowe's, Home Depot, Tractor Supply, or wherever, and you buy these big bags of dirt, they always say, oh, we got fertilizer in there for 6 months, or blah, blah, blah. You know, these bags of dirt are just basically dead dirt. When I say dead dirt, I'm talking about in order to make soil work for you, you got to have good bacteria, all right? Factory farms can get away with spraying all kinds of cool chemicals on there, ammonium nitrate, to make sure that you can produce food. But in reality, if you want to have a really good crop, if you want to make sure your soil is healthy, you need bacteria, and you need good bacteria. Now, this bag of dirt that you're going to buy from a store is most likely going to be either solarized or baked. That means they've used a lot of heat to make sure that all the weed seeds in there are dead. But by doing so, all the good bacteria is gone because they basically baked it to death. So you have to use that dirt, if you want to, you have to use that dirt and make it a place for bacteria to grow again, so you can use that bacteria to your advantage to build really strong, healthy plants. This is where the composting side of the conversation comes into play. People out there's a lot of people who like to do dedicated compost piles, and I'm not saying you're wrong. You're very right to do so, because composting is the absolute best way to make sure your soil is healthy, stays healthy, and you're keeping things within your own biome. The only problem with a normal compost pile, a traditional compost pile, is you got to constantly water it, turn it, feed it. And if you don't make enough green scraps, that compost is going to start cooling down and not work as effectively as you want it to. So I like to use something called in-place composting. I don't know how many people actually do this. It's just something that I've been doing for a couple of years, and it's worked very well for me. Where basically I take all the stuff I would normally throw into a compost pile, and I bury it in my raised beds when I'm either building a bed or refreshing a bed. So basically, when I said I'm going to be combining two videos, that's exactly what it is. I'm filling a bed, but I'm also filling it with things that I'm going to compost anyway, and I'm going to show you how nature, if let go, will do all the hard work for you. There's no point in overthinking this. So we're going to assume that you just built a raised bed like mine right here. I just built this 7x3 raised bed. I put it in place where my sunflowers were last year, because I like raised beds. I like the production you get from them. So I have to go ahead and make dirt. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't make all my dirt. I go ahead and buy a couple bagged, about four or five bags of dirt, depending how big the bed is. And I use that as a filler for the rest of the stuff I toss in there. And I usually like to do what's called a hugelkultur method. I started doing this 2 years ago, and I absolutely love it. I mean, the results from it are, they speak for themselves. They're absolutely outstanding. So essentially what the hugelkultur method is I like to take big logs, cut them, and I put them at the base of my bed, as you'll see here. Alright, so after I put the logs in the center of the bed, I like to take sticks, twigs, whatever, things this size or smaller, and put it around those logs. Essentially because those are going to break down faster than the big log will. So I like to fill those in around that next. Then after that, I take and I get about 3, 4, 5 bags, however many you want to, of store-bought dirt. This is the part that a lot of people are not going to agree with me on. Some people will say you need to buy strictly organic. Some people say you can buy the Miracle-Gro. Some people say you can buy whatever. I just buy normal garden soil, the deadest shit that you could possibly find at the store that costs $7 a bag. I don't care. As long as it's not laced with a whole bunch of chemicals, I really don't care what's in there. I just need to have something to fill in space. So I take those and I throw them into the box. And that's the point we're at now. Because I was doing this, I started filling the box up. I said, man, I should probably make a video on this because I keep getting asked all the time. So that's what I'm doing. So I have the logs, the sticks, and the soil in here, and I'm going to show you how to build from now on. So I got my dirt, I got the logs here, I got the sticks underneath, and I got the dirt. This is the packaged bullcrap soil that you buy. I don't really care. Now I take a whole bunch of cardboard and I rip it like this. I throw it in. Boom. Cardboard. You can also use newspaper. So that is one thing I do, and I like to spread it around and start to bury it in this soil. Then I grab some kitchen scraps. Banana peels, eggshells, pieces of lettuce, and I just throw them in there. Oh look, paper towel, throw down there too. Next, I go out into the woods and I find a whole bunch of leaves and I fill up a bucket worth. And in they go. Then I come over to my chicken coop. Hey chickens. I take a square shovel and I get some of their poop mixed in with all the pine shavings, because I use the deep method or deep litter method for pine shavings. That way it kind of keeps the ground a little bit insulated, catches all their poop. I used all that stuff, put it in a bucket, and I throw that in the garden as well. So the more feathers you can get, the better. We got our chicken stuff. That goes in there. Alright, so another thing you're going to want to add to your bed is going to be charcoal or wood ash of some sort. This is going to give you a lot of nutrients, and charred wood will make sure it acts like a sponge so it can hold in a little bit of extra moisture just in case you have really hot summers like I do. So adding hardwood ash or charred wood is absolutely beneficial. So that's why I add a bucket full. Alright, next you find some dandelions or any kind of weed growing in your garden. Mostly it's going to be dandelions or plantains. I have a whole bunch of dandelions. You can tell by the dandelion flower. You don't get the flowers in there because it's going to bring in the seeds. However, the green is what you want. Take all the flowers out. Take the greens because the greens are full of micronutrients. For those of you who don't know, dandelions are a miner. They like to grab all those trace minerals from way down below because they have a really long taproot. And guess where they put it all? In the leaves. So the more leaves you put in your garden bed, the more trace minerals are going to be in that bed as well. Then after you put all the greens in there, you need to find a good source of meat. I like dog. Alright, but seriously, yes, you can actually put meat in your bed, and I've done it before. I'm going to do it this time most likely, but I got to find out what is in my freezer that I do not want to eat. That's probably freezer burned. Basically, all you do is you dig down real low. Since this is a very deep bed, you want to put that meat down at the very bottom. That way you have a lot of dirt on top. That way you don't have raccoons or whatever else smelling it and digging it up overnight. But yes, you can definitely put meat down in these beds, like older meat, whatever. Just make sure you bury them down real low. Alright, so then we take our hose and we make sure we get everything wet down. That way the microbes have some moisture to deal with. Then we just mix it all together. Get it mixed, you wet it again, then you cover the whole thing in straw. Alright, now the most important step, and I cannot stress the importance of this. Ready? Time. Whenever you compost, especially if you compost in place, you want to make sure that you are giving the bed enough time for the bacteria and the worms to do their job. I don't know if you're aware, but if you put any kind of manure down on a bed, you want to let it kind of chill out and let the bacteria do their job. That way you're not burning your plants. Because if I immediately started to put something in here, there's a really good opportunity or really good chance that whatever fresh seedling I may put down might get burned by the high nutrient content of the chicken poop. So I need to let the chicken poop chill out and compost down. So that's why it's mid-January or early January, and I'm putting all this stuff in place now. That way by the end of March when I plant, everything has had a nice 2 months, if not 2.5 months, to work itself together, simmer down, and kind of blend. So by the end of March, you're going to see there will still be straw in here, it'll be discolored, but the underlayer, all the worms and everything else are going to do their job and turn this into a nice loamy soil, and that's exactly what I want. Now when it comes down to planting in here, since I just made this bed, I'm going to want to put something down like a green to try to take up the excess nitrogen, because chicken poop is very high in nitrogen. And the last thing I'm going to want to do is to put down some sort of peppers or tomatoes, because the peppers and tomatoes are very, they don't need as much nitrogen. If you do give it too much nitrogen, then you're going to get a lot of leaves and not very many fruits. So it'd be a really good idea if you put down a green to try to take up that excess nitrogen. When I say green, I'm talking about like a lettuce or a cabbage or something like that, bok choy, something that'll take up a lot of nitrogen, something that will get rid of all that excess. So you want to put those down, and when you do plant, don't move this off to the side. Leave this layer down, leave this mulch here, and just do this. Put it down in there, leave the rest here. You won't have weed problems, moisture will stay in the bed, all the good bacteria is going to help you out, and you will not have an issue. So yeah, that's how you make a bed. That's how I in-place compost. If you learned something from this video, or if you appreciate my hard work, please do me a humongous favor and give me a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll catch you all in the next one, okay?